Hi, it's Roger here with episode 16 of Entrepreneur TV, and in this episode we are going to be talking about how you can sell anything to anyone with these 4 steps I'm going to go through. And as you can see, I'm at an airport right now. We're in Johannesburg Airport in South Africa. I just arrived from a flight coming in from LA and London, and I'm about to head over in transit to Durban. This is kind of funny. That is my luggage for an entire month traveling around the world. I kind of want to travel light so that I don't have to stop at customs and so on. So I take it all hand carry, and I'm about to take you through a process where you make life as simple as possible for yourself by not going out trying to do what a lot of people do, which is to try and get people to buy something you're trying to sell, but instead go out and sell people something that they want to buy. Okay, big difference. If you go out with a product you've got right now, with an idea, and you're like, oh, who will buy this idea? You're already starting the wrong way around. Don't go out try and get people to buy what you have to sell. Start by saying, well, what is it they want to buy, and how would I sell that to them? Okay, I'm going to give you an example of this, right? And you're going to see why we're in the airport right now. This is a story from 1979, Richard Branson's first billion-dollar idea. And it didn't start by him saying, how do I have a billion-dollar idea or sell, something worth $1 billion? It started by him saying, I got a problem here, same problem as other people. How can I solve this for all of us? He was trying to get a flight to Puerto Rico with his wife. The plane had been canceled. Everyone was complaining about it. So while everyone was complaining, think about this, 1979, he hadn't started Virgin Galactic or Virgin Atlantic or any of his airlines, but he thought, maybe I can solve this. So he calls up a couple of chartered companies. He finds that one charter company is willing for $2,000 to charter him a plane to Puerto Rico. He then puts up a little signboard where everyone's complaining and says, Virgin Airlines, $39 to Puerto Rico. He gets enough people buying what they already want to buy, and as a result of that, he ends up getting a flight free for himself and his wife. And then, of course, from there, Virgin has actually become a billion-dollar business online as well. We're going to head down in this elevator here because I really hope that from this video, you'll really see how every entrepreneur around the world who's been successful has done it the same way. They started by thinking, what is it that my customer wants? Who is your customer right now? In the last episode, we went through identify your identity, which is how you make sure every day when you wake up, you're waking up already clear on what you need to do for you to become the person you want to be. And everything aligns up. That's your true north. Well, Master Your Market, the second stage of your level, is all about how you make sure that when you wake up every morning, you can imagine every one of your customers waking up and they're thinking already about you and how you're going to help them become more of who they want to be. Everyone has problems, right? Everyone's got challenges. So maybe someone wants to figure out a better way, to get healthy. Someone's trying to figure out a smarter way to run their business. That's the problem they're trying to solve. And if you're the person they think of straight away, that means that you're mastering your market now. So how do you do that if you're just getting started? You start with the 4 Ps. I'm going to go through 4 Ps, which are super important. And with these 4 Ps, I'm just going to get this elevator if it comes as well. Hope the elevators aren't broken here right now. The 4 Ps are, number 1, the problem. This is not about your problem. It's about your customer's problem. What's the problem you're actually looking to solve? Everyone's got something they've got as a challenge. You've got to figure out what that is and be really clear about that. And then number 2, what is your promise? So if you've got the problem, which is what's in it for me, the why, if you don't actually define that problem to begin with, people already aren't even sure if what you've got is of any value to them. The second thing, the promise, is your what. It's here's what I'm going to do to solve that problem. The third one is now product or process, which is how you're going to do it. Because people want to go from the right brain, which is I actually believe you're going to do this, to the left brain, which is like, hey, I can actually conceive rationally how your product compares to other people who are trying to solve that same problem for me. I can see why yours might be better. And then, oops, there's the elevator. And then the final third thing, I want to show you something, which is why we're kind of changing levels here. And the final 4th thing is about proof. Because people go, yeah, I can see that's working, but what proof do you have so I don't take all the risk myself to make this work for me? And that's all about the who. So you've got the why, the what, the how, and then the who, which is basically how it's worked for other people. It's like, who do you have behind you so that they're not taking the risk, they can see you've done it yourself before, right? And if you actually have all 4, you can go onto Kickstarter, Indiegogo, watch the videos that people put together. You can go look at any of the videos we put together for the Genius Test or any of our products. We always cover those 4 things: the problem, the promise, the product, and then the proof. And you can do the same by following along with the key mission that we've put up for free on Genius U on how to master your market. So you know who your market is, and you know how you're going to actually go solve and deliver a problem to them. Now, if you do that, by the way, then there are two other bonus P's which actually become more and more important as we have progressed through the 21st century. The fifth P is price. And price is something which is changing massively. So what people are willing to pay for, a couple of years ago even, they'd want for free today, right? And other things they're willing to pay more money for as well. So how do you make sure you set the right price in the right way? Well, Richard Branson, he set a price, and if people thought it was too expensive, they would have told him because he was right in front of them. What happens if you've got an online business, or if you've got, customers that aren't right in front of you? How do you work out what that price is? Well, let's take an example like Brian Walsh, who is running the events, which I'm here in South Africa to be a part of. He's got some 5,000 or 6,000 people that are booked up for the event, and he was very clear, as we all should be, about the difference between value, and someone saying, yes, I see that as value, and value for money, which is, and I'm willing to pay the money that's being asked. So what he did was he basically went out to everyone in his market and said, would you like to come and see Roger for free? And he got over somewhere like 6,000 people booking up to come and see me for free. Then he contacted them all and said, would you now like to upgrade that ticket? So many then upgraded to a gold or a platinum ticket. And of course, if he had started by saying, here's the price, and he didn't know if it's the right price or not, he probably would have got a much smaller number of people coming on board. I'll give you another example. This is one from India, where I hadn't had much experience in the market at all. Two of my partners in India were arguing with each other over a weekend event that I was going to be running. They're like, Roger, we don't know what the right price point should be. What do you think? And I said, guys, you're both just talking about opinion. It's not about your opinion. It's about what the market actually votes on with their money. And they go, but we've got like 200 people coming this evening to see you, and we want to tell them about this event. How do we set the price? I said, right, would you be willing to be able to put it in my hands to figure out the price, and all I need for you to do is decide what percentage of the room you would like to book up to come for this event? They said, sure, if you can get 20%. And I was like, okay. And I hadn't met anyone in India at this point, but we had this event that night, we had a great time, and off the back of that event, what happened was, after it was kind of getting to the close, I said to everyone, would you guys be willing to come and see me for 2 days where I'm going to be talking all about entrepreneurship growth? They all said, sure. I said, okay, well, I need your help because our partners can't figure out what the right price point is for this. So if you're willing to help me, let's have some fun on this. And they go, sure. So what happened was I basically said, all right, so first of all, stand up if you would come and see me free of charge. So everyone stood up. I just determined value, right? And so everyone was now standing. I said, right, help me with this, right? We're going to see what the price point is that 20% of you would be willing to come along for this event on. So first of all, I'm going to kind of give you different numbers in rupees. And if I give you a rupee number, which is too high for you, you think, yeah, I like Roger, but that's not value for money, you can sit down. They go, sure. So I said my first rupee number, and no one sat down. Second one, some people sat down. Third one, I just kept on going higher, and another group sat down. Fourth one or fifth one, and then a large group sat down. I said, haha, right, well, we finally got to that number. And I basically then had a conversation. Why is that the right number? Why do you feel that's the right value? And people gave their opinion. Everyone got into the whole setting of the price point. And we actually got to the point at the end where I said, right, well, you guys here, you're the ones who still come at this price point. We said 20% and we'll actually set that price. So you guys, you can join up now, and that's the price it's going to be. And they joined up. We got our first 20%, our first 40 people on board, and that became a really successful event. I couldn't have figured out what the price was. The market always knows through crowdfunding, through online polls, through you just meeting up with your customers. It's easier now than ever to know what the price is because people will tell you. But most importantly, you first of all got to be clear they want your value before they decide on value for money. The 6P is purpose. Richard Branson, he's now got hundreds of people. I think it's more like 500 now that have put down $200,000 each to go up on Virgin Galactic. Even when Virgin Galactic had that unfortunate crash and first fatality, he hardly got any people stepping out from wanting to go up to space because they were much about the purpose of what he was looking to do and supporting that. So I don't think for a moment that when you've got a new idea or a new product, it has to be perfect before people will buy it. Because if you go to them and you're saying, look, the reason I'm doing this product is I really want to change this particular market. I'm really looking to change the customer service level. If you can help me to do this, then together we can go out and make that difference. You'd be amazed at how many people are willing to support you based on them having the same shared purpose as you. And that brings me to where we are now, which is looking down through the center of the Johannesburg airport, where we are basically at the arrivals, right? Everyone here is waiting for loved ones and others to arrive here. And the reason I wanted to finish here is this one might sound great if you've got a big database of people already, like Brian has, or if you're like sitting, at a spot like Richard Branson where there's lots of people who have the same problem. But here's the point, flow works like this. If you're at the moment sitting at home or in front of a computer wondering where your market is, it's because you're in the desert trying to dig for water. You've got to go to where the water is. And there's a word for this, where the water actually congregates at the most. And it's a word which is a doorway. It's called port or porte. If you think about a website which is actually where everyone comes, it's called a portal. Right? If you think about port in terms of the port of a seaport, it's where all the ships come in from all around the world. And if you go there, you find that's the place where you can actually sell the most goods because the people with the most in common show up at that same place. And that word port also now extends to airport, where you'll find that there are people all around the world that every single day are showing up, connecting up to go somewhere else. There's ports right now in your market. So who is your market? If you go and actually take the steps within the mission, you'll see that we can define it in 3 levels: economy class, business class, first class. That each one of them has a different set of needs, a different problem they're looking to solve that you can solve at a different price point. And most importantly, when you get focused at where that port is, you might find it's not even a physical location like a market or an airport or a port at the sea. It could be an exhibition. It could be like just as I was just recently in Los Angeles and Hawaii, a conference where I was connecting up with the people who are the leaders within my market. It could be an event like the ones that I'm doing here in South Africa. But very rarely will I go knocking at the doors, if ever, of people who I think are my customers saying, can I solve the problem you have today? I'm much more likely to go look for those ports of flow where I can connect up with them. This is the difference of export, which is I've got something, will you please take it? To import, which is what is important to you. That's where that word comes from. What is important to you that I can serve you on as well? Remember, if you're looking to get things, there's always a limit to what you can get. But if you're looking to give, there's never any limit to how much you can give. And so with that being said, switch that thinking around. I will see you on Genius U, where you can connect up with me, leave your messages, go ahead and take the mission for yourself, and have a wonderful week. We'll catch up with you next week as we step up to the 3rd step at Yellow Level.